Good afternoon, everybody, or Shavua Tov. I'm Rolene Marks. Welcome to the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land, where we take a look at those news stories making headlines here in Israel every Monday to Thursday. And of course, we're bringing you that coverage of Israel's war with Hamas. And you can see my microphone has a yellow ribbon. We will not rest until all of our hostages return to Israel safe and sound. So we are nearly 60 days into the war. Let's take a look at the latest developments. Israel has resumed our military campaign in the Gaza Strip. This follows Hamas's breaking of the ceasefire just an hour before it was due to end on Friday morning. Hamas fired rockets towards southern-based communities outside of the Gaza Strip, and they also refused to hand over or release the female hostages that they were due to release. You can hear the pinging of incoming rockets. We have had a significant amount of barrages, one just a short while earlier to central Israel. There is nothing normal about sitting and working here in my shelter and hearing the booms of interceptions around me. On Saturday night, we actually had a big barrage here to where I am in Modi'in. You can still hear the binging. This is a big barrage. It's not going to stop anytime soon. So Hamas are still firing rockets towards central and southern Israel. And there have been exchanges of fire in the north as well between IDF and Hezbollah positions. So let's get back to where we are with the ceasefire. You can start to hearing the booms around me. So it's another big barrage towards central Israel in the matter of an hour. Israel is still fulfilling our role in the military campaign by ensuring the safety of civilians. In fact, the IDF published a map that shows civilians in the Gaza Strip where they can get to safer areas. This is unprecedented. No army has ever done this in the history of warfare, and it does possibly compromise military positions for the IDF. We also know that the IDF is moving further and further into the south of the Strip, focusing efforts specifically around Khan Yunis, which seems to be a hotbed of Hamas terror. Now, as the IDF push forward into the Gaza Strip, so they are uncovering more and more of those tunnels, more and more of those weapons storage facilities. And wouldn't you know, they have been found in UNRWA schools with UNRWA equipment. A tunnel was found in a kindergarten. How many of you out there are sending your children, your grandchildren to kindergartens in your countries, not ever having to worry about the fact that there are rockets and weapons being stored and munitions being stored in their facilities? So Israel is proceeding with our sworn goal of eliminating Hamas while ensuring the safe return of our hostages. There are still 137 hostages inside the Gaza Strip. We are still not aware of the situation with regards to the Bibas family. We are all very, very worried about 10-month-old baby Kafir, his 4-year-old brother Ariel, their mother Shiri. Right now, it is not known where they are being held and what the situation is. So please do not believe social media. Believe what you hear from reputable sources like the IDF, who say they are still investigating it. There are also 10 hostages over the age of 70 being held in the Gaza Strip. These are predominantly men. And while we have had most of the women and children released from captivity, we are still very concerned about our men, our fathers, our brothers, our soldiers being held hostage in the Gaza Strip. We are starting to hear more and more testimony from the released hostages, and it is absolutely shattering. Stories about how they were denied food, children forced to watch footage of the 7/10 atrocities under gunpoint, burnt on the legs by a exhaust of a motorbike, denied light, denied the ability to shower in 50 days. Can you imagine it? Their hair crawling with lice. Of course, we are not pushing them to give testimonies. We understand that not only is it incredibly emotionally taxing on them, but they also still have family and community members inside the Gaza Strip. And speaking of women and being held in captivity, we, of course, have been speaking a lot here at the Israel Brief about just how astounded and how appalled we are with the silence of international women's organizations and NGOs and feminist bodies with regards to the rape, the gender-based violence against Israeli women and girls on the 7th of October. Well, it took UN Women some 57 days to say that they were appalled and that they were going to enter into some kind of investigation. Now, our Foreign Minister, Eli Cohen, has called for the resignation of the head of UN Women, and we are just roundly, absolutely appalled and disgusted. Actress Gal Gadot, our very own Wonder Woman, has taken to her Instagram to excoriate women's organizations, feminists, and the world. She says the world has let us down, and Gal, we couldn't agree more. And just to say to everybody, the world has been silent, but we, the women of Israel, will not be silent on behalf of our late women and children, who most of them are no longer here to give their testimony. Although I do have to say a big kol hakavod to the UK media yesterday, the Sun, the Daily Mail, the Guardian, the Times of UK, all giving coverage to the sexual violence and abuse that Israeli women and girls had to endure. So thank you to those publications. I see the New York Post is also covering it as well. So very, very important. Now, the United Nations has come under a lot of scrutiny and a lot of criticism. I've just told you about what was found in UN facilities, UNRWA facilities. I've told you about the silence of UN women. Well, one of the hostages who was released said he was held by an UNRWA doctor. In fact, he could hear when the doctor was treating patients. Now, UNRWA released a statement on X saying that, they are outraged at these unconfirmed, unsubstantiated reports. But we have been speaking about this on the Israel Brief for years. There have been testimonies given to the United Nations for years, and we are showing you the physical proof of what has been happening with the United Nations and their various agencies inside the Strip, and it exposes a very, very dark undertone. The International Commission of the Red Cross is also coming under immense scrutiny. Last week, Israel's health minister saying to them that he holds them responsible for the lack of medical care that our hostages had to endure while in captivity. The president of the Red Cross has said that he will make every effort to visit the hostages still being kept by Hamas. It's nearly 2 months. On Thursday, it will be 2 months since the horrific atrocities and massacre of the 7th of October. Why? Why does it require our pressure put on you for you to do something concrete? Make sure that the women, the children, the men still being held hostage by Hamas are not just receiving the medical care that they need, that they are released immediately. Sadly, we were informed by the IDF over the weekend that at least 6 of our hostages were murdered in captivity. This is a crime against humanity. I know that Karim Khan, the head of the International Criminal Court, was in Israel yesterday. He visited those kibbutzim affected. He spoke about the atrocities that he saw, and he has met with the families of hostages. If we are going to have threats from countries like South Africa to take Israel to the ICC. We would call on the ICC, which we are not a signatory to, by the way, to fulfill their mandate and ensure that no further crimes against humanity are committed against our people. So that brings me to the end of today's edition of the Israel Brief. Just to recap, we are pushing further into the south of the Gaza Strip. The ceasefire has come to an end, or the truce has come to an end. We have resumed our military operations. We continue to pray for our hostages. May they be released immediately, brought home to the bosoms of their families, to the love and to the care of this country. And of course, our brave men and women defending our country. We are standing behind you all. You make us so extremely proud. Chazak ve'ematz. Go in strength, return in victory. Don't forget that you can check out our website at www.layoftheland.online. We've got an enormous amount of coverage up there. Our YouTube channel is at the Israel Brief. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that red button. We're over 1,000 people, so our community is growing, and I'm here for all of that. We are on Facebook at Lottel's site and on YouTube or Twitter or X. I can't keep up with what it's called. You know, the place where you tweet, and you can find us at Lay of the Land 5. I'm Rolene Marks. Please take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll join you again tomorrow.